ready to start. We have Fluffy, the Game & Watch / Ridley player from Minnesota. He's going to go up against Chozic, the Samus from Nebraska. And Game & Watch versus Samus, I think this is kind of an interesting matchup because a lot of folks, in every Smash game, they assume, oh, charge shot means that Game & Watch has a huge advantage in the matchup. But it does lead to a little bit more of 50-50 situations where it's up to the Samus when that charge shot is fired. So Samus can still catch Game & Watch off guard, blow him up really hard, but if Fluffy ever makes that read and buckets it correctly, then he has a whole stock on Samus, essentially.
Yeah, that's a good point. Game & Watch is one of those weird characters for me to watch, mostly because every once in a while Meister will come down to the Chicago scene and just absolutely tear everyone apart.
Yeah.
And then I think Game & Watch is top 3 in the entire game. But essentially, word on Game & Watch is that basically, if you're a heavy projectile character...
That was a sick edge guard. Drive down Nair to set up a stage spike with the trampoline. Great stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome. But if you're a heavy projectile character, in this game, Game & Watch kind of wins. But there are the weaknesses that Game & Watch sort of has, being like a relatively slow character that sometimes has difficulty actually getting in. A lot of the times, you just have to sort of obey your opponent to doing something really risky coming into the matchup, and then actually try to capitalize and put them in the air and juggle them a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Game & Watch, he does well with proactive when he's when the opponent is being proactive. But when he has to be proactive, his tools aren't quite as good at opening up opponents. But because he has the Fluffy has lead right now, it's up to Chozic to really make these plays, and Fluffy can really ride that momentum if he sets it up right. But Chozic calling out the trampoline, getting the kill, and evening up the stocks at least. But he's still at a pretty big percent deficit at 73.
Going in there off stage.
Yeah, great interception with the back air. Oh, that's the stock, yeah.
Yeah, able to plant him in the ground. That down smash can be so tricky, especially for roll options off ledge. I honestly think Game & Watch is one of the more underrated ledge trappers in the entire game. Sometimes his moves just come out so wacky. You don't really even see what this character's doing. One of the the wackiest things Game & Watch does is actually get back, neutral get up on stage. It's literally like frame 1, he just makes like a weird sort of like movement, and then he's back on stage. You can't even tell what he's doing.
It's funny because it's not so much that his moves are instant speed, it's that they're unreactable because it's missing so many frames of animation that people look for.
Immediately hit with the chair. Pretty much the game plan has gone pretty darn well for Fluffy so far. Like I said before, Game & Watch really thrives in making sure your opponent can't stand in neutral, because anytime they're not just hanging around the middle of the stage, you don't really have to worry about committing and getting in.
Oh, the bomb barely not doing it. Chozic, though, this is looking pretty done, and just like you pointed out, down smash covering so many options.
Hey man, fool me once, fool me twice.
And the scary thing is you're not really sure which option he's planning on covering with that down smash, right? If he's going to hold it or if he's going to let go trying to call out like a jump get up and kill you with the vertical hitbox instead.
That down smash is actually ridiculous. It's relatively big. You always got to be careful of it rolling onto stage. Honestly though, like after you hit with it the first time around, I'd say chances are you're better off just probably jumping away, trying to jump in the air, maybe even just completely double jumping to the other side of the stage, because you know that at that point that you're hard committed to actually committing to that down smash, and if it worked once, why not do it again?
Yeah. And otherwise, like the roll is just like if they're holding it, then they're absolutely punishing your roll. Whereas the timing mix-up of the jump is still really tricky for the Game & Watch to nail.
Now, for the most part, even though we mentioned bucket a lot earlier, the game plan has been relatively simple for Game & Watch. The problem with Chozic is he really hasn't had time to set up camp with Samus, because Fluffy has been able to do exactly what Game & Watch is supposed to do and make sure that Chozic can't plant himself on the ground. Now, because of that, I'm hoping to see that Chozic will actually create a little bit more space on Battlefield to be able to actually charge projectiles and mix up his game plan to make sure Fluffy isn't always in the advantage.
Yeah, and that's something that normally Samus gets to do a lot on Battlefield against many other cats because she's so good at navigating around platforms. But the trick is Game & Watch, his juggle tools go through platforms really well. In fact, he likes platforms because he can nair the underside of them, or he can use up air to cover the entire space above them while not actually committing to move up.
Yeah, this is one of those tricky matchup situations where you definitely choose one stage knowing that it's going to be good for your character.
Oh my god, Fluffy!
Yep. Yeah, I guess the stage choice doesn't really matter if you're just going to hang off stage and get spiked. You can do that on pretty much every stage.
It's some languages are universal, you know?
Nair, a couple times that. But by the way, Nair, also ridiculous moves. Just sort of has this this feeling of like sucking you in and then immediately spitting you out, does like 16 damage, leads into itself another move that Game & Watch can juggle when it's just absolutely nasty.
It also works beautifully as like an anti-air option too, right? If someone's trying to pressure your shield, jump up with an air and you get them off your back.
Yeah.
Chozic is getting better though at getting down from these juggles. He's getting a sense of like exactly how far he has to disengage to stay out of Fluffy's range.
With that being said, Chozic's still off stage and he's still pretty much a whole stock behind. That screw attack was extremely dangerous.
He could have got something a little bit meatier there, but it's so rare to see somebody do something that laggy right in your face, and you don't want to mess up the punish being too greedy, so I get it.
Oh, one thing we actually didn't talk about was how ridiculous Game & Watch's recovery in this game is, too. His up special goes a mile away. Even if you're way understage, you can like hard commit to like down air, and you don't have to worry about SDing because up B will send you right back to the ledge. Yeah,
his up B is funny because it's now one of the best recoveries in the game because it was one of the few ones that wasn't nerfed at all coming from Smash 4. Like, he still has a Smash 4 recovery.
Oh yeah, I could talk about all day how recovering in Smash 4 was absolutely ridiculous. And Game & Watch is still living in the past, bro. I mean, it fits his character.
Exactly. But yeah, Fluffy now looking like the first game. Just an utterly dominant lead. Chozic, I mean, he could probably take this stock, but being able to find the momentum to take 2 more is going to be really tough.
Yeah, Samus has that struggle when it comes to actually being able to get the kills sometimes. A lot of things Samus is like to do is pressure your opponent into looking for, not looking for the charge shot, getting hit by that, and that'll take you out. But when you're facing a character like Game & Watch, who's got one of the best reflex in the entire game,
yeah,
that's really hard to commit to.
Especially because like he can afford to gamble with the reflect a little bit more now, right? Like, oh, at worst he'll hit me out of it. I still have 2 stocks to play with. It's not the worst thing. And then if I get the bucket off of it, then like this is gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, well. That was. Whoa!
Oh, okay, yeah. Forgot. Hey, remember directional air dodges?
Yeah.
I completely forgot about them for a second.
So it's a better recovery than Smash 4, right? All right.
All right. Even old dogs can learn new tricks, man. Key once again, hard committing to it. One thing up special is also good for, it's actually just generally a good neutral tool as well. Being able to put yourself up in the air and then
it's a good out of shield option, and as well as it's actually good as an edge guarding tool. It does everything. Like the move really does everything.